Welcome to another episode of Q&A with Che. Please subscribe to us in the Himalaya app or wherever you get your podcasts. This episode is an exciting episode for me. It's a long time, not only friend, he's family really, but he's a music publisher. On this episode, I actually give him a new nickname. Tuff Morgan from the Peer Music Company, Peer Music Publishing, which is a global independent publisher. He is a mastermind in terms of the information and the knowledge base of what he knows about publishing, which is one of the mysterious areas of the music business. It's still very daunting to most producers, songwriters, and artists. They're still learning. I know artists who have been in the business for a decade, and they're still learning, more and more about publishing, especially in this day and age of streaming, which has sort of changed the way and the nature of how music is consumed, but also how it's monetized. So this is an exciting episode of Q&A with Che today. Stay tuned. Welcome, another episode of Q&A with Che. Today, my guest is the one and only. He's actually
family.
Yeah, he's family, and he's actually from the golden era of hip hop. I don't know how many people, and we're gonna get in and talk about this. He goes by the moniker of Tuff,
Yes,
and
sir.
he is a music publisher from the company Peer Publishing.
Peer Music Publishing.
Peer Music Publishing,
Yes,
which
yes.
is one of the leader global publishing companies, correct?
90 years old, yes, sir.
Or what? Yeah, 90 years old. So, first and foremost, we got to start. How you get the name Tuff?
Man, well, Tuff is just that nickname that sticks that everybody gets from their parents when they're young. I had the little moniker
Okay.
for a while, of course,
So,
growing up.
A little tough.
So I was Little Tough. My dad was Big Tough,
Okay.
from down south,
Gotcha.
humble beginnings in
Where you from? New York, New Jersey?
Tuskegee, Alabama.
Oh, your pops is from Alabama.
And my mother's from Atlanta, so I was born in Atlanta, Grady baby for those who
Okay.
in Atlanta. And I grew up there, then I moved East Coast when I was little, grew up on the East Coast from
All right.
Boston to
That's my hometown.
Yeah.
Shout out to Celts.
yeah, shout out to Celts. And then we moved to Jersey. No, then we moved to South Philly.
Okay.
I lived in Penrose Park in South Philly, and then I moved to East Orange.
Okay. Shout out to KG.
Yeah, moved to
118th.
East
Those are the
Orange.
homies.
Then back to South Jersey, Camden area, Willingboro,
Okay.
New
A
Jersey,
little further down.
and then to New York.
Okay.
And so Tuff just stuck all the way through high school. My high school teachers called me Tuff all the way through. You
Yeah.
call my house today and ask for Vincent, they'd be like, who? That's my real name, Vincent.
Yep.
They'd be like, who?
Yeah, I don't think I knew Vincent until I know you for like 10 years.
We start doing business.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to business, that's where I got, the real names come out.
Yeah. The government.
The government. So, growing up, and obviously you're moving around though, but in your family, did you come from a musical household? Was music in the air?
It definitely was. My pops was a jazz freak. To the point where like there were speakers all over my house. Like you go to my pop's house today, he's still listening to a Akai half-inch, like cleaning the heads. He's still in it.
Yeah.
He ain't going to CD, he ain't going digital. He's cleaning heads. He got jazz Coltrane on half-inch.
Wow. So
You know
he's
what I mean?
He's a purist.
So he's super purist to where he used to take tennis balls and tie a string and roll them through the vents so you couldn't see the wires, and then string up the speakers is outside. He got the rock speakers out in the backyard so you don't know where the sound is coming from. Like that's the house I grew up in. No TV.
No TV.
Unless you was watching like 2020.
Yeah.
Real sports.
Got you.
That's the type of pop I had, man. So
Okay, yeah.
shout out to him. He's what created the monster, man, because
All right.
I live it to this day. I'm still up listening to jazz right now. I'm back to it.
Oh, it's funny how it
At
comes
this
full
point.
circle, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because it's in your DNA. And I asked that because I'm starting to discover more. Like some people come from super musical households, and other people come from music where music wasn't in the house at all.
Yeah,
They came to music late,
that's crazy.
but they had the love. They just couldn't. It wasn't that there wasn't that type of family. You know what I mean? Now, for those that don't know, Tuff was in a very classic rap duo named Channel Live.
Yes, sir.
How did you get into rap?
I mean, come on, Shay, you know this. So when you coming up in the 90s, late 80s, 90s, you had to do everything.
Yeah.
You know, if you was in hip hop, you break, you pop, you lock, you beatboxed, you
graffiti,
you cut. I had a turntable, I had a coffin in my bedroom. Turntable, vinyl. It's a lifestyle.
So you was into all of it.
So of course I could rap.
Yeah.
Did I think I could make money doing it? No one thought we could make money doing the shit.
Yeah.
But you know, you did all that.
Yeah. Yep. I got my first
turntable. Break down and then you stand up and then you freestyle and battle. Like it's how you want it, you know.
Which one?
Yeah, so that was kind of just the culture. So I always rapped.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I got to college and then, you know, injected. This is like, you know, college is like 89, 87, you know, where you inject some of the consciousness and what was happening. That time,
and it was a real conscious time in rap.
It was PE and you know, it was, you know,
PE, and then after
it was do the right thing, and it was, you know, it was super conscious, and X-Clan and
Spike Lee.
It was that whole move with the printed shirts and the African medallions, you know. Okay. So it's like,
so you was part,
we used to come from dancing battling to the cypher battling, you know.
Okay, so you was just a hip hop purist into all of the culture of the hip hop. Okay,
part of it, man.
All right. How did you meet KRS-One?
I met KRS-One because when I was in college, I joined a fraternity, and our fraternity bought Q-Tip, Tribe, and KRS to perform on campus.
Okay.
So I had budgets. So, you know, I wasn't one of those people who joined the fraternity to wear the colors and throw the, the Greek gangs and shit, as we used to call them. So I'm a Kappa, so we used to
Pretty boys.
You know, we had the canes, I had the chicks. It ain't nothing changed.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing changed. So we used to throw the parties, and we bought KRS-One up there, and I think we paid him like $12,000, bro, which was huge.
At that, yeah,
you
that's
know,
a lot of money.
This is like 90.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a lot of money to pull together.
It was a lot of bread, and we had budgets to bring artists, so we bought Tribe right in the middle of Midnight Marauders. Like,
okay, so yeah,
Chris opened up for them. You know what I mean? Like it was big, and we started a relationship with KRS-One. My partner Hakeem. You know, when I met Hak, he had the Nefertiti, you know, cut with the Africa and the chains in the back with the dove. You know, it was that time. Yeah. So
now, was y'all already a duo at that point?
Nah, we weren't.
Oh, okay.
We weren't. He was just somebody I knew dance battling, you know, at the parties, you know, because he was dancing, and I met him battling Wyclef from the Fugees. Like, this is what we were in. We were battling Wyclef, and then Hawk knew Wyclef from East Orange, and was like, "Yo, who are you?" I said, "I'm from Philly, man. I don't know how y'all do it up here, but this, you know." So then we joined. We was like, "Yo, I'm gonna get up with you, and we gonna battle him." And so we all came up together at Montclair State in Jersey.
Okay.
And it was just the cultures, and we developed a relationship with KRS-One from bringing him up into doing, and then we brought him back to do his lectures.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. So you built it. Yeah.
And then one day he just called us up and was like, "I got this beat in the studio, and you know, you guys want to come over?" And we did, and that was it. We developed a demo. KRS had his formula. I'm gonna take y'all to what was Drew Ha's label with Buckshot.
Man, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Duck Down. He's like, "I'm gonna take y'all to Duck Down. We're gonna do the 12-inch. We're gonna go on the road, you know."
Yep.
And that was like his formula. He had Mad Lion.
Yep.
At that point with this song called "Take It Easy," and he took that to Nervous Records. Took that to Nervous. Like, "I'm gonna take y'all to Nervous," and our demo tape got in the hands of Sylvia Rome.
Okay.
Through this other chick named Amelia from Jersey.
Yep. Shout out to Sylvia. She's still one of my
And
mentors.
Sylvia was like, "I love y'all, man, but I got another dread duo already." This was Das Effects.
Das Effects, yep.
Like, I had dreads. So she was like, "I got another dread duo. I can't really sign y'all." Then our tape got sent to Malik Levy, who's brand new A&R, 21-year-old at Capitol.
Who signed me to BMI, actually.
Yeah, and he ended up working with BMI years, still in the game. He's in the Latin world now. He's killing. Shout out to Malik. And yeah, he was like, I want to run to New York and sign y'all right now. And we got signed to Capitol Records. This is '94.
That's crazy. College, you know,
And so
go to
the
college.
album was done by KRS did half the album, and somebody I interned for was Salam Remy. He did the other half of the album.
Shout out to Salam, who's still one of my close friends. Wow,
360, I signed him, you know, it was one of my first signings at Peer Music.
That's a beautiful segue. That's a beautiful segue
Yes,
now.
sir.
So, okay, you got your rap career, you know, life that has its lifespan and so forth. You told me your last rap, if I'm not mistaken,
It was
you said
2000.
2000.
Warner Brothers. We were on Flavor Unit.
Okay. Flavor Unit, Shakim?
Yep.
Yep.
Shakim and Latifah. We had Black Rob, Method Man, Latifah even sung a record.
Okay. Shakim was one of my mentors. KG was really one of my mentors that helped me get to, you know, literally. I mean, when I was on probation one time, he drove up from Jersey and brought me a beat machine to Boston.
That's family, man.
That's real family. So shout out to you know, and they taught me everything I know on the business side. Them and Puff. So fast forward, okay, now the rap career, it's winding, coming to an end, it's run its course. What's next? How do you go from Jersey, New York area to coming out west?
Well, it was kind of like, it was an easy segue because my last album was on 2000 on Warner, which I did with this super producer named Mike City, who's our man. And Mike at the time had like 6 top 10 R&B records. He had Heard It All Before. He had Jimmy Cozier, She's All I Got. He had Dave Hollister, Carl Thomas.
Yep.
He was hot.
Yeah.
So the hot producer is my best friend from Jersey. He moves out to LA, starts working at a label they had, Soul Life, and he brought me out here to do a solo album.
Okay.
Because I was going to continue after the Flavor Unit album. And so I'm up at KMEL with Kevy Kev.
All right.
And I'm freestyling on the radio, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore.
You just feel like you just lost the.
I just Hawk wasn't with me, and I'm just like out here, and I'm like, yo, I'm on a course of just destruction. You know what I mean? Like I'm in LA.
Yeah.
You know, I got all this money, the sunshine, the women, the weather. It's going crazy, and now I'm solo.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I could just write and produce, because I had started doing that before. Like one of my first gold records was the Blade soundtrack.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever knew that.
No, I didn't know
produced the soundtrack for the movie, and the end title I had KRS-One on it. So I had started making beats on ASR. I was the ASR
so you were
dude.
getting into it, yeah.
So I started getting into production and writing, and I was like, okay, we could do this. This is cool. I ain't got to go on tour and lose 50 pounds smoking weed and drinking Hennessy every day.
Yeah.
I can stay home.
It's better for my life.
This is better for my lifestyle.
Yeah.
I could stay home, make beats, and write songs for people. Mm-hmm. So I started writing with Mike.
Okay.
And I ended up on Rihanna, Rihanna's second album. I ended up on Games. I ended up on Documentary.
Yep.
I ended up on, because we developed a relationship with Dr. Dre, and I ended up on Young Buck.
Yeah.
And Busta Rhymes album.
Quick side note. Mike City and Tuff introduced me to Dr. Dre.
That's crazy.
Who I ended up working with for 8 years. So
it was like a cool Christmas party. Dr. Dre used to have these little Christmas parties with just, you know, close friends. And I think Che came by the house, was on you were on your way to Atlanta or something? Like probably, you were leaving.
Yeah, I still had the house in Atlanta.
And we were like, yo, we going to this party with Dre. You want to come through? And we rolled. Next thing I know, I'm like talking to Che to get over back to Dre. Like, yeah, he's over there working. So I'm like,
yeah. But you guys made the first introduction.
Full circle, man. You know? Full circle, man. So I started writing for other people, and then I started A&Ring for people.
Okay.
So Gerald Busby, God rest his soul, I started A&Ring for him. This is like 2002 or 3.
Yeah, independently or
independently. He had a label through Red Distribution called Umbrella. He did Patti LaBelle, and he had Tweet, and then we pulled Carl Thomas back in full circle. Mm-hmm. And so I was A&Ring for him, and then Brian Turner. I met Mac 10. Yeah. Just from rapping and knowing Mac 10.
Yeah, Brian Turner from Priority?
Brian Turner from Daddy Warbucks. Wow. Brian Turner, Mr. Priority, started a label called Melee Records.
Okay.
And what now is my fiance, she was an artist, and I had started producing her stuff through Melee.
Okay.
So I wrote all her stuff, wrote and produced all her stuff. I had this Rihanna placement. I had all these things going. Peer Music signs her, and that's how I met Peer Music.
Wow.
And so my vice president at Peer Music, Yvonne Drazen, she said, "Hey, you writing all these songs? You never did a pub deal?" Nah, I never did a pub deal. Not even all the way back to Channel Live. We never did a pub deal. So,
had you even done an admin deal?
Nothing.
Wow.
Probably lost like at least good.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. Yeah,
I can't even talk about it. Can't talk about it, bro. So she signs me and gives me a joint venture at Peer Music. Okay. From all the writing I did all the way back to Channel Live.
Wow.
So now I finally start learning publishing because now I have a joint venture to be able to sign artists, which I'll talk about what that is in a minute. I have a joint venture I can sign writers and sign producers and so that's what transitioned me into publishing.
Well, that's a hell of a journey. Rapper. Well, hold on. Let's even start. College concert promoter to rap artist.
Yeah.
To songwriter, producer.
Yeah.
To publisher.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a journey.
And it ain't even, that's like
a quarter of it. I missed one. I missed A&R.
Yeah, you missed
songwriter,
A&R.
producer, A&R.
A&R for Brian Turner for 3 years.
Yeah, A&R.
So I learned radio. Like I learned how to, like the whole system of independent radio and like how that, you know, that stuff is still alive. Yeah. You know, radio promo.
Legal payola.
Yeah, it's still alive and well, and like how that works and what stations cost and rotations and spins and how you get in. So, I mean, I could talk about every single aspect of promotion at this point.
That's an amazing journey. So now you arrive at publishing, you get the joint venture. One of the reasons I really wanted to have you on the show, not only because you're a good friend of mine, but you're one of the most knowledgeable people in the field of publishing. Publishing is one of the number one questions I get asked about from young people, young artists, young producers, young songwriters. It's still one of the mysterious areas of the music business, how it works. Should I get a publishing deal? Shouldn't I get a publishing deal? What's a co-pub deal? What's an admin deal? You know, what's pipeline? Mm-hmm. All these things. What is MRD? What is it called?
MDRC.
MDRC. What is recoupment deals?
Mm-hmm.
What is reversions?
For reversions.
Yeah. So let's get into this.
Collections.
So you become a publisher now, and it's a new world. Now you're in the corporate world.
New world.
Yeah. Now you're in the corporate world. How do you transition from being this independent, from artists to, just being able to move independently to now having to deal with a corporate structure? Because, I did the same thing. I did the same thing in 99 the first time I did it with Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
I had always been
label when we
I was at Warner Brothers, had an office in Rockefeller Plaza. I got to go in there with the little more refined, if you will. Yeah. I think I came in on my super hip hop. They were like, nah, it's not gonna work, bro. You know what I mean? That's for Fridays. Right. But you know what I mean? You ain't earned that yet. So all right, so now you go into this corporate environment where you got to navigate the personalities, the thing, you know what I mean? You got this whole heap of experience, but not in publishing.
Yeah.
So, okay, now you know. Now take us there. Take us to that moment. You're getting in publishing.
I was very fortunate enough to work for a company that's an independent, family-run business.
Okay. Explain a little bit about the difference between Peer and
Peer
say
Music,
one of the majors.
Peer Music is a global independent. We have 33 offices in 30 countries. So Ralph Peer the first was super smart. He's a pioneer in publishing because he was super smart. What he did was he went around the world and he set up offices in every territory.
Wow.
So a lot of his core business ended up coming back to him through sub-publishing deals. So a sub-publishing deal is when, say you have a publishing company and you don't have anybody on the ground in Chile or any Latin territory, mm-hmm. you can use Peer Music to help you collect the money. So Peer Music sub-publishes for BMG in Latin territory, sub-publish for Downtown, Pulse,
all these
Big Deal. Yep. So a lot of his core business came back to him because he was smart enough to go around the world and set up these companies because his whole philosophy was like, I'm gonna go publish local music. Where back in the day, and this is like 1929, bro. This is like before the Depression.
Wow.
And he said, I'm gonna go into these local territories and set up companies that can collaborate with the societies on those different territories and help people collect their money with these songwriters. Now, we're not talking about a whole bunch of money.
No, but you're still talking about someone who just saw the future.
He saw it. He was an A&R at RCA Records.
Okay.
And he started Southern Music Publishing because he was like, he got offered to be the president of the job. It's a cool story. He's in the History Grammy Museum. It's a cool story because he's one of the pioneers of publishing, especially regional music, country music, and what we call Negro race records. Came. He was publishing this stuff in Latin territories. Where no one would go, he went.
Wow.
And so I come from I'm working at a company that's the core culture of the business. Yeah. So it's super knowledgeable. My lawyers are on the board for the MMA, the Modern Music, Modern Music Modernization Act.
Wow.
Tim is on the board, to change the laws. And so I'm surrounded by the knowledge of publishing on a daily basis, where I know my contemporaries and I know everybody at the other publishing companies, and they're like, Tuff, I got a budget and I spend it. And they don't know.
They don't
have this kind of information, and they're not like, I'm a sponge with it. Like it's like a new toy for me. Like I'm like, okay, I know all this other stuff. Now I know this. Yeah. And it's powerful. It's super powerful, and I get creative with it now that I know it. And I just happen to be blessed to work at a company that understands and gives me the autonomy to move around and make certain deals the way I make them. You know what I mean? Yep. So I think that separates me from different publishers and separates that company from other publishers, because they're like the only independent left.
Really?
That doesn't use sub-publishers.
Wow.
Anywhere in the world. We in China at this point. Going into Africa and Ghana.
Yeah, that's amazing. What's the number one mistake you see like new producers, new writers do, like when they sign their deals? Are they signing them too premature? Are they not getting proper advice? What do you see?
It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of things, because I think, now that I'm in a place where I can teach publishing now. Shout out to 1500 and Nothing Academy. I teach at the school.
Rance.
I think it's shout out to Rance and James for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Genius, visionaries, amazing folks. You need to have them up here.
They do. They definitely gonna be up here. I'd love to get them up here. I'd love to get Twyla up here.
They're like
get into it.
Super visionaries. They building. They're doing cities.
Yeah,
They're curating cities.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Out of here. So, I think we have to reframe what publishing means to people, because it like I said, everything comes into position and comes into play for me, because I was the artist that was like, what is publishing? I want to be on Rap City. I don't care about what is that.
Yeah, and I don't think
it's like this thing in the air.
Yeah, I don't think Wayne discovered it till like his fifth album.
You know what I mean? It's like what it's not tangible, so people don't have a way to grasp it. Yeah. So the way I like to reframe publishing is like, you need a partner that's going to help you collect your money in areas where you can't collect it.
Yeah, where you can't get it.
All over the
just
world.
Collect bring your money back.
This is not somebody, I'm not taking something from you. I guess because back in the day, I think the perception came like, people sign their publishing for $10 for life, and you hear all the horror stories.
Well, you even hear like the early story that Biggie, gave his pub to Puff for.
KRS signed his pub for $10,000 to Jive Records.
Really?
He doesn't see a dime from Criminal Mind.
Wow.
You hear all these horror stories because there was a lot of people taking advantage, but in this information age, you don't have any excuse. The information is out there, the people out there.
Yeah, I'm a personal victim. Even one of my earlier deals, I did a deal which And
I know you don't even talk about miseducation. I mean,
yeah, that's a whole.
come on, man.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to like see. Robert Glasper got his own album in his career. He could call L out.
Right.
Me and L is friends now, so I'm trying to keep us friendly. But with that said, one of my earlier publishing deals, you know, the titles are going to be where they're at for perpetuity.
Yes.
Because I signed a deal, you know, the money looked good. You know what I mean? The relationship looked good. And I'd signed a deal for perpetuity, which I would, you know, obviously never, ever, ever do again in life.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But there's nothing, but you also have to understand there's nothing wrong with life of copyright because you're always going to need administration.
Yep.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
But life of copyright can put you in a position where you can't move around if you need to move your catalog.
Exactly.
If you need to re-up or renegotiate, but
and we'll get into that too, because I do want to
Yeah.
talk about what Merck's doing and some of these things on that nature. But like right now, let's talk, because you just brought a good point about in terms of administration. What's the difference between an admin deal and a co-pub deal?
A co-pub deal is you're co-publishing the title or the song, right?
Yep.
So, and an admin deal is you're just administrating the song. So, a co-publishing deal is when we co-own it. That's the main difference.
Yep. So
It's
you're
co-ownership.
You're actually
You're a
participating
participant in 50-50 co-ownership, where admin deals can have different percentages, and you're just adminning it for a certain term.
Yep. And
It's not for life.
You
It's
are
not
collecting the money.
I mean, a co-pub is an administer, but in the co-pub situation, we're co-owning it together.
Yes.
You know, we're co-administrating this deal. We're
Yeah.
co-publishing, administrating this song or catalog or your artist, whatever, you're writing.
Now let's go.
So the main difference is an admin deal is no ownership, and it's for a shorter term usually.
Yeah.
And there's no retention, and which means you get your songs back right after it's finished. The term is finished. So that's the main difference.
Gotcha. Now, people think of this as a bad word, but why do you think they have record and release commitments in publishing deals, or they used to, or why is it changing?
Because it made total sense on the money. So record and release requirements when albums are going gold and play. A gold album was a flop.
Yeah,
everything was going
gold,
selling
platinum,
at least gold.
Yeah.
So when you had MDRC, which is minimum delivery release requirement, that's what that stands for.
Yeah.
That used to mean a certain amount of money. So if I say, here's $150,000 and I need a 2.5 song commitment.
And 2.5 songs is 250% for those who understand.
Know what that
Every
is.
song is 100%. So 2.5 songs means 250%.
Yes.
So if you got 25% of a song, you got 25% of your commitment. So just to be clear on that.
This is a good point, because 2.5 songs is not just you handing some song you did. It's like 250%. And that means if you're doing 50%, that's
5 songs.
Yes.
At 50%.
Yes.
And most people even have small
10 songs at 25%.
25%.
So that's where a lot of people get caught up in. And I think when it changed to all these releases and not full albums, because a lot of times those MDRC meant you had to be on a major release.
Yeah, they had all these
They
stipulations.
come out with these terms where it has to be a major album, a major release. It has to be at least 10 songs. It has to be a full album. It can't be, you can't fulfill your commitment on that same album. There's all these things. And so I think they were super prevalent in a normal business when records were selling, because it meant a certain amount of money.
Yes. And now in the modern era, the streaming era, how have you seen the publishing deals change?
Well, for me, I only do recoupment deals. So a recoupment deal means I give you a certain amount of money, and when you make it back, the deal has another option. You move to the next option. So I don't care if the money comes from a big sink. As long as it's money coming in and you recoup whatever I give you up front, that's what a recoupment deal is.
Okay.
It usually has a term between, it'll say the latter of 3 years. So whichever comes first, 3 years, or you make all the money back. Whichever comes first is when you go to the next option. So
you don't do any record and release deals at all anymore?
No, I do.
I know publishers still do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I mean, a normal deal will, and the mini max, all that crazy old school language.
It just fascinates me that those deals still exist.
Oh yeah, and lawyers will do them. You know, I've learned that lawyers don't know as much as you would think they would about publishing, because they don't do publishing deals every day. You know, it's not their core business, so they're not up to par of what's going in the market. You know.
Yeah. Well,
they're just trying to get their check.
A friend of mine who manages, he used to work for Jimmy Iovine. He was like one of Jimmy Iovine's business strategists. He wrote a book too recently. He manages the internet and Sid. He brought this point up to me, real fascinating about the music industry. He was like, if you think about it, streams and all this stuff that's going on, the way it still gets converted into album sales. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And if you think about that, let's put that into modern terms. That's like Apple Computer converting their sales into typewriter sales. Mm. You know what I mean? That's a really fascinating point. And to me, so when I hear publishing companies that still do those types of deals, that type of business, it's still the same thing. It's like that's like typewriter sales to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I like the way that you're progressive with that. I think you're leading the pack in that. I think there are very few progressive publishers. There are some, and they tend to be more on the independent side. But, how has that benefited you in terms of being able to sign writers, producers, and artists?
Oh, I mean, it's been great. I mean, when I first started publishing, everybody's like, if you do admin deals, they'll leave you when the term is over, Tuff. And, and it's still a people business. It's still a people business. And the admin deals I have done, I did one with James Poyser, and shout out to James. And
Miseducation.
He's
partner.
recouped it 3 times already. And he's like, Tuff, we did a good job. I'm just keep it.
Yeah.
So I haven't lost one admin deal I've done.
Which everyone is like.
Which everyone's like, they're going to move. They're going to, you're not locking in for a term if you don't do a co-pub deal. So I heard a lot of that when I started. But, if you do good business, people stay with you. And like I said, you need admin for your whole life.
Yeah.
So.
And you probably don't know this, or maybe you do. One of the reasons I even wanted to talk to you about publishing is that people that I know that have worked with you, signed with you, so on and so forth, they leave feeling like they know about publishing now.
Oh yeah, it's like I'm holding up the flag, like, because I was the artist that didn't know shit. You know what I mean? So, any chance I get, I gotta give you the keys. I gotta give you the keys and show you how you're a publisher and show you how this thing works and show you before you sign this thing with me. Yeah, you're gonna know it probably better than the lawyer. That's my mission.
Yeah.
My mission is to reframe how people perceive publishing, and like it's a partnership. This is a partnership. Peer Music has amazing administration abilities. I have amazing creative services. Yeah. We have great sync team. It's a partnership. Yeah. It's not somebody, here's some money.
What's the sync team? Let's talk about that. What's the sync team?
Synchronization. So that's film and television placement.
Film and television, which could be a tremendous money earner. Right?
I mean, the money in publishing is in big radio singles and sync. At this point. It's not in album cuts.
It's really in licensing it to film,
it's
television.
Really in film and television, which is booming now because there's just as much visual content as there is music at this point through Hulu and Netflix and all these other platforms. They need music.
Everything needs music, right? Advertising, every commercial.
Yeah, so it's a huge, super huge business. I mean, you have publishing companies that's all they're dedicated to. Secret Road and Angry Mob, like all these. You have companies that just sign people to do sync.
Just do sync just for sync. That's an amazing. I think that's
super
one of
big
the.
Business.
I think that's another one of those areas where there's not a lot. It's not a tremendous amount of information out there. Maybe if you know where to look, but in general. When I ask people about it, or young people ask me about it,
you could do a whole nother podcast on synchronization.
Exactly, where people just don't get it. They don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So a lot of young people are going to watch this podcast. This is what this is for. This is for young people who want to learn, who want to know things. So I want to talk to specifically like, okay, it's a new producer. It's a new songwriter. How would you advise them? Okay, they want to get in the game. They want to grow in it. They want to have traction. What would be the steps you would advise them on?
Do they have a song that's out?
No.
Yeah.
No.
They have no song that's out.
No song that's out.
So you're talking about it's a developmental
It's
deal.
a developmental person in general. They're getting started. They're whether they went to school or not, they've passed that point. They're professional now in the fact that they're embarking on this, that they've moved, they've sacrificed, they've saved their money, they moved to LA, they moved to New York, they moved to Atlanta. They're really getting set up here. They're interning at a record label or at a studio just to get in the door.
Mm-hmm.
How do they get going?
Well, you're going to come to me and say, "Hey, I'm interested in a co-publishing deal." First, I'm going to tell you what it is, and tell you the different deals, and then I'm going to say, "Okay, well, you just moved to LA, or you just moved to Atlanta, or New York, whatever.
Yeah.
Figure out how much money you need to live for about a year and a half, because you're not going to see any money from me in the first year.
Yeah.
By the time the semi-annual period pays, and we're 6 months behind." Usually, if a record comes out today, it's not going to get paid till next year. It's not going to pay out till next year.
So that's a very important point right there. So even when you do get a record out, you're not going to see your money for a year.
Yeah, because there's semi-annual pay periods. So if something falls in, if a record comes out between June and December this year, it pays in March
of next year,
2020.
Yeah.
If something comes out between January and June 2020, it pays in August 2020.
Wow. Okay.
So
it really depends on where it lands.
Where it lands. And so you got a lot of records that may get done now, but then they don't come out till between January and June 2020.
Yeah, and then you don't see any money start to see.
And that's bearing the splits are cleared.
Yep.
It's been
Which
licensed.
Also could hold up. So
a lot of things happen where I'm still working on Chance the Rapper. I got 4 songs with Trap Money Benny.
Yeah.
The splits are not in on that Chance the Rapper record.
And that, just so you know, obviously my history with Kanye and so on and so forth, that would be, we've had records that would, 2 years later.
Yes.
The splits weren't done.
Yes.
Splits are when our
publishing
splits are when the song is done and people agree on what the terms are, the writers and producers that participated in that. It's a good school of thought. They do this very much in K-pop, and certain camps do this at the end of the time of
country music.
Yeah, country as well. When they finish writing the song, they fill out a split sheet, they agree on it, they sign it.
Mm-hmm.
That'll save so much time later on. That is a lesson.
People get amnesia. I mean, I could tell you horror stories of records that are still in dispute. There's actually a law that happened about 4 or 5 years ago called a Memo of Understanding.
Wow.
So it means if a song is in dispute for more than 2 pay periods and it's under 115%, it gets prorated down to 100. So all the writers eat up the overage.
Yep.
And I know that was created for split disputes.
Yeah. And so that's after, what, 2 years?
2 pay periods, which is 2 periods. So about a year.
About a year. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just
so I get letters, I get emails every day. Tough. Hey, this writer's falling under the MOU law. It's up. It came out so and so, and are you cool with this split? This is what it is. And I mean that happens every day.
Wow. Because
people didn't have that conversation. Because nobody wants to talk business in the studio while it's being created, and that's cool.
Yeah. Do you think that's genre based though? Because like I said, K-pop, they talk about it. They get it done.
Nashville, they split it 3. If it's 3 of us in the room, no matter what anybody did, we split it 3 ways.
Yeah.
That's just how it works, which to me is a great formula because then you have nobody trying to figure out, I did this and that's how I
like to work because, somebody might have only contributed this one part, but that might be the part that was...
Or you were bouncing ideas off this person the whole time and they were sitting there.
Exactly. So that's always been my, understanding. Yeah. Obviously,
that's not
everybody's understanding. There's definitely it's wild.
I mean, I could tell you stories about the girl who went for coffee that's claiming 10% because she was in the room. I mean, this is real stories.
Yeah.
And went and did a publishing deal on the 10%.
Yeah. And there's one story I like to bring up, which is it's a lesson, I think, to a young producer. I always like to tell the story, but I also love the generosity of this. So Designer, who we signed at Good Music, had a song that was skyrocketing, which is Panda, which he bought off the internet, something of that nature. He bought the record, and he bought the rights to the record. So the producer gave up all the rights to the record for about $2,000, $2,500, something like that. When the record skyrocketed, designer felt the need to give back a percentage of the record to the original producer. That producer was able to do a $700,000 plus deal based on that, the success of that record.
Amazing.
So that's a very unusual circumstance. You don't ever see someone giving someone back some publishing. But I just think that's a lesson to a new producer in terms of who just giving away their rights.
Well, I mean, a top 10 record that's in the chart, it's on the charts, on the Billboard charts for 10 weeks, will earn you somewhere between $150,000 and $300,000 a quarter. So if we round that to 200, that's about $800,000 a year.
$800,000
on 100%.
On 100%. So 100%.
So if you got 50%, that's about $400,000 on a top 10 record.
On a top
for
10
a
record
publisher.
For a publisher.
That's not for the writer, because that's another check.
Yeah.
Which is normally about the same.
Yeah, so about the same, which means that, that record, same thing. If you got 50% of the record, the publisher and the writer see about $400,000 a piece in a top 10 record for a year.
Yeah.
And then
it trails off in that. But at the height of the success, when it's in the top 10, and that Panda record was probably, it was top. It was number one.
Yeah, it had a nice little run. Yeah.
It went number one, didn't it?
Yeah, made a bunch of money for good music.
Man,
and Def Jam and Universal.
That record probably made for the writers and the publishers at least $4 million.
Yeah, it's a good
and
run.
Counting.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's
how much $2,500 beat.
That's how much they can make. So that's a blessing. When you think about when you're in the room, you want to make sure those percentages are right and exact, because that's your future money.
When you see something come together like that. You referenced a guy, and I love this situation, this story right here, and we won't get into all the details of it, but you do a deal with a company, in this case James and his crew, and they do and then they sign a new writer, and then you see that new writer have two number ones or two records in the top 5.
I mean, they had
Trap. I'm talking about the Trap Money Benny, success story.
Yeah, In My Feelings and Booed Up and Justin Timberlake and Chris Staples. They had a run.
Yeah. And
they had a real run.
When you see that happen, like, how does a company deal with that? Do you see this? Do you see the company rally around this writer? Is this writer become a priority now, or is it?
For me, I can speak for me.
Yeah.
For me, all my writers are always priority. I mean, I make it a point to talk to each one of them at least once a week. Where are you at? I can tell you where all my writers are at today.
Okay.
But it's because I'm at an independent publisher. I have about 13, 14 at the very most.
Yeah, you have a
very manageable, lean, mean roster.
Which obviously majors, we know, have massive rosters.
I mean, I talk to other A&Rs. They have 60 writers. There's no way you can keep up with 60 writers.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But that's not the business model.
I don't know if it's okay, though, because,
I hear the stories. People come in my
office. So
office.
many writers that be like,
my publisher doesn't do nothing. Yeah. I get it all the time.
I haven't talked to him. I don't even know who my point of contact is. I literally just talked to a young lady. I won't even bring up her name, but she's had massive success in the K-pop world. Yeah. She don't even know who her point of contact is.
Yeah, and that's an important point, because when you're doing a partnership, a publishing partnership, you want to make sure it's like part of your team. You want to make sure that relationship, because this is somebody, whether you do a co-pub or an admin deal, you're going to be in business with for at least 5 years. So you need to really, that's a real decision you need to make, and you need to figure out what the priorities are when you're having these meetings with the people you're getting in business with.
What would be the top things you would say to someone to think about before they sign?
I would definitely think about the company and the main partnership, which is the A&R or the vice president, whoever you're talking to. Because
whoever your point of contact.
Whoever is your point of contact.
Are they going to be there?
Are they going to be there? Think about their sync team. Are they aggressive? Are they working? Are they just picking up the phone? Are they just fielding calls? Are they proactive? Is your creative team proactive? And then you want to think about the team around you that has the relationship. Is your manager great with the team? And it's a family thing. So you got to look at it like that, because it's all hands on deck for your success.
Yeah.
So it's an important partner. It's just not money. And if it is just money, then you need to educate yourself on how much money you want to take and how that affects, because deals work like this. The more money you make, the more aggressive terms you have.
Exactly.
So
when you hear about them people getting those big checks,
yeah, it comes with a lot.
It comes with a real
It comes with a lot, and you may be stuck in something that you're going to regret after you blow through all this millions of dollars, because you can blow through millions of dollars. I've seen people do it. We've seen people do it.
People get a little excited. They're getting cars.
You know what I mean? You buy moms a house and a couple cars and a couple trips to Vegas, you're done.
Yeah.
So you need to figure out, how to manage the money.
Yeah.
And they say a good deal is when both parties walk away a little unhappy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you got a little something and I got a little something. But we've met in the middle and figure out what that is and understand the business of how you're going to manage that money, because this is your partner for a good.
Have you done like what I call lifestyle deals? Meaning, okay, I know I got a young writer who may not be there yet. Let me do a deal, but let me allocate the money 6 months.
Of course.
Okay, you've done.
We do. So you get an initial advance. Initial advance will be a lump sum of money. Say the deal is $100,000.
Yeah.
You might get 25, and then you get 11 monthly payments, so you don't go crazy, and you have like it's a job. You have a job.
That's what Reebok did with Iverson. Like later on, they had to do those types of deals with Iverson, because in terms of how he
I love doing that because it helps you manage it.
Yeah.
Even though you say you think you can manage it, you got to think about taxes is going to take.
Well, I'm a firm believer in those types of deals, especially for younger people and younger
coming up, developing, right?
Because obviously, same thing. When you as most people don't really, especially music people, don't really come from money. So the first time you get some money, you
got cousins coming out the
woodwork. You don't know what to do with it. I mean, first time I had a real check, I walked on a car lot and bought the car in cash. Dumbest shit I ever, So but I ain't never had no money, so it was like,
you might just set that on fire. Burned it up.
You know what I mean? Like literally, even the car dealer was like, "You sure about this? Like, I don't know if this is smart." Like, because you're just dumb, young and dumb. It's a real thing. In conclusion, one thing I want to talk about, just in conclusion, is this. I talk a lot. I think I ask everybody this, or I'm starting to. How do you feel about the state of music 2019, 2020? Man, especially urban music. Even though the genres are
the genre runs the world.
Yeah, they're starting.
Let's start there. It runs the world. I mean, I'm in Italy and they doing trap. It's Italian trap. It's Latin trap.
Yeah.
We're talking about.
I just heard about techno trap.
The word trap, though. Let's.
Yeah. What's the origin of the trap?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's global.
Yep. And I actually just found out the real rap word. I actually just found out the definition of trap. Obviously, I knew it was a place where people sold drugs from and so on and so forth. But I found out what it was in the South.
Mm-hmm.
If you were on the street, the police could deal with you one way.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were in a residence, they had to deal with you another way.
Mm-hmm.
So that became the trap. Yep. Anyway, that was I actually
not the most positive term.
No,
let's say
yeah. I didn't know even the origins. I mean, I knew what it was to some extent, but I didn't really know the real definition
trap.
for it. Yeah.
So it's global.
Yeah.
So I can't not be proud of that.
Yes.
Right? It's world. There's not a piece of music on the radio that doesn't have some sort of urban influence. Yeah. Urban is pop.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Yes.
There's no genre. It's all pop at this point.
Yep. Because pop means Jimmy
Pop
Iovine told
means
me this
popular.
morning. Pop means popular.
You know what I mean? So I never get into the urban pop conversation because let's pull up the chart right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's all urban.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if you want to title it something, but it's pop. So urban is pop. So I'm super proud of hip hop. I love the energy because I'm in it. You know, I'm not the jaded old head. You know, from the 90s.
There's a lot of OGs that's sitting there like,
you know what I mean?
This ain't rap.
But I think because I'm still so connected to it, and I see the energy. You know, I see the energy when I'm in a writing room and the young one says, "Man, I don't want to write no record about marriage. We don't get married. Like I'm not writing about no wedding."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but you get it.
You know what I mean? Because I was there.
You were that guy.
I was that guy that was like, I don't want singing on my record.
Yeah.
I don't want no girls in the video. that was the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now that's like the video's the strip club.
Yeah,
you know?
the video
it's
is
like
the girls.
We have porn at right now. You know what I mean? We like there.
No, that's that.
You know what I mean?
That's the culture.
So there was a time where it was just grill face and hoodies and
everybody was mad.
Fatigues.
You was mad when you wasn't even mad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And you like you gonna eat the camera, you know?
You know what I mean?
So I've watched it evolve, but the energy and the attitude is still the same.
It is. I do
That will
agree
never
with that.
change.
I do agree with that. When you see the young rapper, whether they just getting started or
Never
even having their
change,
first
man.
bite of success,
That gets me still excited.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now I'm even more excited because I got 30-year-olds coming in my office talking about, yo, I just did a $3 million deal here. And I'm about to do another $3 million deal over here, Tuff. Help me.
Yeah. But that's
It's a whole I wasn't having no $3 million conversation.
Yeah.
I was like, when we going to Rap City? You know what I mean?
So you've seen the evolution of it.
The evolution of the business mind.
Yeah.
I'm super proud of the evolution of the business mind of these kids in the information age, and like, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna give you the publishing key, and let's see what we do with that.
See what you do with that. I mean, I got songwriter friends that got drivers. You know what I mean? And that's just a beautiful,
crazy,
beautiful thing. You know what I mean? Just knowing that where we all came from. You know what I mean? And just and obviously seeing the great ones take it to amazing heights. You know,
billionaire status.
Yeah, billionaire status. But just the fact that people could really make a living and provide for their family
and families at this point.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you think there's going to be a rise in the entrepreneur again? You know, we came from an era where there were a lot of people starting their own labels.
Yeah.
I see obviously on a very, very small scale, people always do it. It's never went away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I feel like I'm starting to see the rise of the labels again with the rise of QC.
Mm-hmm.
It started with TDE.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Obviously, Cash Money's still there, but Cash Money, they kind of segued off. Young Money, they went through their thing. So to me, right now, the two relevant, and I really talk about that is because at the major labels, they're major labels. I don't look at them as like, it's not like it used to be where there was a Def Jam. You know what I mean? So I look at Def Jam as QC. I look at
Capitals QC.
I see TDE as, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So do you think we're gonna be in the golden era again where there's a rise?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you're talking about kids that are full service now. Even with no money, they got a videographer, they got a content person, they got a publicist, like
self-contained
coming in my office with a plan, with a whole marketing plan. We going to TikTok and I'm hearing what's going on. So, Master P and them the blueprint.
Yeah.
Master P and them were doing it, Cash Money early, and even Nelly. I mean,
yeah, all these guys. I mean, you think about.
But we're at the point now where it's A to A. It's custom. You can get right to the consumer without them. And so now they start buying into the businesses now. So my advice with one of those fledgling labels is like, build it because you can with just hard work, energy. Because you don't need money to shoot no video. You shoot right on this 11 Pro. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And then build it, and then if you want to sell it, you can still own it and get a distribution deal, a la Master P and Cash Money and all these people. You can license it. You can license this label to these majors for a lot of money. They're doing it because they're making. So I give you some streaming numbers.
Yeah.
Because they have direct deals with Spotify's and the Apples and this and that. They're making between $8,000 to $10,000 per every $1 million, or every 1 million streams.
Yeah.
So you have a record like In My Feelings at 1 billion streams, that's like $80 million.
Yeah, just right there.
One song. So they have more money than ever.
And that could just be on one platform.
That's it.
That's not even on. That's not even
I'm not
on.
including YouTube.
Yeah, that could be one platform.
This is Spotify, probably.
Yeah.
So I'm talking like you have all these platforms and outlets to get your music and your message out, but you still need the label because the label has a system if you're trying to go to radio.
Yes.
You still very much control the terrestrial radio, which people swear is dead and it's all this.
Well, to transition into a really, from an internet star, you could be a social media internet star, but to transition to really you're talking numbers on the billboard and the real numbers,
Yeah.
you need radio.
Yeah, you do.
You know what I mean?
And you can get there if you build it, and then the label comes in and puts the money behind it, and because you still need a lot of money to cut through the noise. You can do the label thing, the radio thing independently with a lot of money, but it's still these businesses are still ingrained with each other. Universal has the Universal and Capitol. They have the next Migos record, and they have the next Rihanna and the Justin Bieber. They're ingrained in how this whole system works.
And of course, they're going to control pipeline,
and they can control it. So at some point, if you want to go that route and get on the radio and do that, you build it up. You let the major come in and give you the millions of dollars.
Yep. The more leverage you have, the better your deal.
The more leverage you have, you don't let them buy it. You do a distribution deal, and you let them distribute it and use their team, add it to your team, and you're in business. And you got kids, like I said, 30-year-olds coming to my office. Yo, I just recouped a $3 million deal in 2 years. Tough. I'm going to Sony now. I mean, it's great. That's crazy to me.
It is crazy to me, the numbers. Obviously seeing like a Travis go from where I saw him start from to what he's doing now to, I mean, I can go on and on and on.
And when you mix the art and the commerce together, and and you're a pure businessman about it, I mean, you can be a billionaire.
Yeah, and I love to see.
I don't even think I could say that in the 90s.
Well, I don't think.
Well, the word billion would not even have came out of my mouth.
I was just happy when I first got in the music business. Like, I might be able to even make a living. You know what I mean, like, and I'm thinking, in comparison to my parents, what I mean, and what they were, I don't know what they were making, but
my crib, they still don't know what I do. They still can't explain how I do what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm super, super proud of hip hop and the way it's grown and how it's global and it's just not urban. It's
I think I got a new, I think, you went from Little Tough to Big Tough to Tough.
Yeah.
I think I got a new one for you. Professor Tough. Professor Tough.
It's
official. On Q&A with Che, his new moniker's, worldwide exclusive.
Bless up, man. Yes. Che's a master himself too. This is master key lessons right here.
Well, man, it's been an honor and a pleasure to have you on the episode. I mean, this whole thing came to me because I realized that there is a lot of information out there, and you can find it, but it still needs to be a place where it's in one place.
Yeah. In
this case, it's going to be Q&A with Che on the Himalaya app. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast.
Plug them.
You know what I mean? Good shout out. Shout out to Peer Music. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I got a little JV over there. A little JV.
That's right. Yeah, we
doing business. We get started. It just gets this baby thing about to be a big thing. But
that's right.
It's been an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show today because you gave up so much game today that I even think people that are in the business, who have experience, need to listen to this one. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is one of those.
Well, I come back anytime, man. I know we covered a lot of ground, so you got questions, you can email me tuff@peermusic.com, TUFF at peermusic.com.
I mean, and if you're an up and coming writer, songwriter, or you think you got talent,
I'm always listening.
Get at him.
Always listening.
Get at him. You got an IG?
I don't.
Okay, well, he gave you the email.
I'm the ghost in the machine. Get at me. Tuff@peermusic.com.
There you go. That's enough. On that, in conclusion, this was a publishing masterclass today. I feel like I learned something, and I've been doing this for 25 years.
And I'm still learning, man. Like I said, I'm just privileged to work at a company where they're in it every day, especially on the legal side of things. With Spotify appealing. I know we're trying to close, but I feel like there's so much.
Well, that's important.
Every single day, I
think, and I'm glad you brought that point up actually, because my issue with that, I feel like there needs to be a universal number, per stream number. I don't feel like if we go on this platform, it should be this. Market, just, you know what I mean? I think that's the one in the legislation that needs to be taking place because the loser in that is the songwriter, is the creator of everyone else is making all their money. Yeah. The platforms are getting their advertising money. They're getting whatever other money, the data that they're getting paid on. The songwriter and the music creator, and I'm emphasizing the songwriter. If it's an artist that created the song, if it's songwriters and producers that created the song, they're the ones that are creating this art that everyone is monetizing on.
Yep.
And they need a universal system because that person is those people or those whoever that is, those are the ones that need to be taken care of first.
Well, remember when I said it was $8,000 per million for the label? It's $800 per million.
Yeah.
And that's on 100%. So if me and you wrote a song, that's $400.
Yeah.
On 1 million streams.
That's $400.
That's the average between YouTube,
yeah.
Spotify.
And if you put it into,
you put it all together.
Yeah.
Pandora pays the worst. Tidal actually pays the best.
The best, yes. I did see that.
And Apple and Spotify right in the middle.
Yeah.
There.
Apple's a little higher than Spotify. They do better.
Yep.
Because they sell phones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So the Music Modernization Act, which Trump actually signed, but you know, he's probably still in cahoots with all these major lobby companies.
Of course.
You know, so Spotify, Amazon appealed it first. Spotify followed Apple, and it's in appeals now.
Yeah.
And the Music Modernization Act would have raised it to a rate. That's what they were trying to get. Like, let's say a stream is this.
And that to me is just necessary.
It has to be, and I think they're moving towards it. But you know, it's a constant fight. You know, you can follow David Israelite is a huge contributor to all the laws, and Dina LaPolte.
Yeah.
And like these are people like on the front lines of like really
and
fighting for songwriters.
And if you're in this business, you should educate yourself on this matter because the more you can speak up about it, the more this can actually get passed and happen.
I mean, you can Google Music Modernization Act, and probably everything you need to know will come up.
Yeah.
Right to the date.
That's all right. On that note, thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? This has been wonderful. All right.
Anytime.
Q&A with Che. We out.